All right, just like the title says, we are in Hogwarts Legacy. We are in Hogsmeade. We have everything set to 4K on the 5080 GPU. And just to jump in here, I'm just going to show you my settings. What we normally do is we start with native, no upscaling, no frame generation, nothing like that. And we start with everything set to the lowest preset, no ray tracing yet. So we're just going to see how this runs. Again, this is 4K native, 5080. If you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing and watching to the end of the video. That helps me out a lot with just all the YouTube stuff. And we're trying to build a little community here. And if you got any questions, let me know. And of course, if you want to see a certain game with a certain GPU from the 50 series, just let me know in the comments below. So right now we're on the lowest settings at 4K on the 5080. And let me turn that down just a little bit so we can hear myself talk. All right, and we're at 116 FPS. This is native 4K. And we are in Hogsmeade, which is one of the more intensive areas of the game. So let's just keep running through here. Looking pretty good, though. No big deal for this card at low settings for sure. All right, let's jump over here. And we are still on DLAA, no upscaling. And let's just go to this next preset, which is medium. All right, so let's apply these changes. And it wants you to restart. So I am going to do that. But at first I want to see if that really matters too much. So this game really wants you to restart a lot. And it's super annoying to make these videos with restarting so much. But we're at 102. So I'm just going to restart and then we'll come back and see if that changes anything. All right, here we are again, and we got a little bit of a bump, so it does seem to have done something. We're at 102 now. Well, I don't know, maybe it did, maybe it didn't, it depends. Started in a little bit of a different location, but yeah, we're still in Hogsmeade, and I'm just going to run around here for a little bit just to get some stuff to load in, just to get some variety and see what our frame rates look like. So medium 4K native with no upscaling, no frame generation. Looks like over 100 FPS experience for sure, no problem. Let's jump over into here, and we are going to go to our next preset, which will be high, and we're going to apply that setting. It did not ask us to restart, so we're just going to keep going, and that looks like it gives us a little bit more FPS, not a whole lot. Seems like the difference between medium and high aren't that much, so we're just going to keep running around here, go back into the little town here just to make sure we kind of stress it out just a little bit, because this is, as everyone knows, quite an intensive area, and it's more intensive on the CPU as well. And this is a 14900K, but our usage is still at 99% on the GPU, so that's good to see. All right, just going to keep going up here, maybe switch it out at these steps here. So let's just go to the next setting. All right, kind of sound like a little bit of a broken record, but that's okay. All right, we're going to go to Ultra, and we're going to apply those. And as you can see, everything got switched to Ultra. Still no ray tracing, though. We're not going to mess with that right now. And honestly, in this game, ray tracing doesn't really affect it too terribly much, but we're still going to see what kind of numbers we can get. So this is 4K native, no ray tracing, no DLSS upscaling, and no frame generation at all. We're at 84, 86 FPS. So this is a really nice experience. These settings are, super great looking, especially at 4K. So you can kind of deduce from running it at 4K that anything under this is going to be just fine. So 1440p, not a problem at all. Probably an overkill, but yeah, this is definitely a 4K card for this game, in my opinion. All right, so let's just jump over here and let's see what the introduction of some ray tracing does. It will probably ask me to restart. So let's just see what it does. Okay, ray trace reflections. Let's just turn all this on. Let's go ahead and just get it all maxed out, ultra, and do this one good time. All right, and here we are. We are back in it. We've got ray tracing enabled now. So we are at the highest settings possible. Let me get to the right page here. We're at the highest settings possible. So all ultra, everything's ultra, and all the ray tracing is set to ultra as well. And just to confirm, we're at DLAA still, so no upscaling, and VSync and all that stuff is off. All this junk is off, and we are definitely on a 5080. Nobody question me. We're running the card that I'm claiming. So, just get that out of the way. All right, so let's jump into it now. We have definitely taken a big hit on our FPS with this ray tracing enabled. I mean, it is stutter city. Look at this. Oh my goodness. Now, some of this might be things just loading in as I just started in a pretty intensive area. So let me run back through it. But yeah, our frame time graph is rough looking. And this game did have some really bad performance issues, but that ray tracing, I mean, look at it. We just had like a drop to 8 FPS. So, oh man, the ray tracing is just really boogering up this whole experience. Maybe some quality DLSS will get things under control, but our VRAM allocation is up to 14, which is quite high for a game like this, especially when, it's quite a bit older now. I mean, this is just running like turds through here, and it's not the card's fault. This is definitely just the game really mismanaging resources. All right, so that just occurred after ray tracing was enabled, so we might want to stay away from ray tracing if you're considering playing this game on this card. So let's just jump over here and let's see what upscaling we can enable here. So I'm just going to go down to quality, and then no frame gen yet. Let's turn ray reconstruction on, of course. Latency mode, it doesn't really give me any options here, so I'm just going to leave that off. And then let's go into it and see what this does. I'm hoping it smooths it out, and that using DLSS in conjunction with ray tracing gives us better performance. And I don't want to speak too soon, but it does seem to be a little bit better. We're still under 60 though, on a game that is around 2 years old, I believe, at this point. So yeah, just kind of keeping that in mind. I mean, the lighting is definitely improved a little bit, but it's not like cyberpunk level of ray tracing difference. So just keep that in mind. It is a good bit stuttery still. I mean, look at our frame time graph. We've got some spikes there, and I'm just going to keep going and see what in the world's going on here, which I don't really think it's anything we can do much about. I know that there are some mods out there that claim to make this game run a little better, but in my experience, they don't really seem to do that much. All right, so 57 FPS, and this is not a fast-paced game by any means, so you could just frame generate off of this, no big deal, but let's just go to balanced and see if we can get that 60 FPS experience with balanced DLSS. And to be honest, I would run it at balanced. I would even go down to quality if I needed to, because at 4K, upscaling from performance is 1080p. That is upscaled to 4K, and you still retain a lot of that resolution. I don't really like going down to quality on like 1440 or heck no on 1080. That looks like mud. But, at 4K, you can get away with a lot more of that DLSS because the base resolution is still quite high. All right, so still at 50s, 56, 58. Just going to kind of run around here. Let's go down to performance and see what that does for us. Again, if you could just like the video and subscribe, that would help me out a lot. And of course, staying till the end is super important as well. It really helps me out as far as the YouTube audience goes and the algorithm. All right. I don't want to be a slave to the algorithm, but I think all of us are really dropping this performance, dropping to DLSS performance really just, I mean, it didn't do a whole lot. I mean, we're hanging out right at 62, 64. I mean, maybe a tiny bit. There's some 70s. But I would just say you could frame gen off of this. Again, we're in probably one of the more intensive areas and, in my opinion, a little bit of the buggier area when it comes to performance. So if you can get it running well here, you could probably get it running well anywhere. Just something to keep in mind. All right, so let's frame gen. So we're just going to go to the 2x option here. So on 2x frame generation, this has been updated to DLSS 4, which is nice. Big old stutter there, but we got a lot of our frame rate back. We're at 115 FPS, and our 1% lows are 27. That's not a good look. But the 0.1% low is also 27. So, I mean, you know, that just kind of tells me there's some issues with the game still in this area. Still fun game, though. Still really nice. Really well-made game. I just wish they would have addressed some of these obvious issues by now. 118 FPS, 109. Okay, so you kind of get the idea. I'm just going to run through the remainder, and then based on what I'm seeing here, just kind of give you guys some recommended settings that I would probably run at. So this is 3x frame generation. Again, Hogsmeade, 5080. Okay, 162. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's just pumping out, you know, some fake frames here, but it does smooth it out a little bit. It doesn't necessarily help the little bit of jankiness I'm still kind of feeling. You know, and that's unfortunate, but that's just the way this game is. Okay, 148, 150, 150. Let's go to that 4X, and then we'll move on to the recommended settings for 4K here. All right, never know which one. Okay, there we go. We're at 4X now. So 4X frame generation, DLSS performance at 4K. And that gives us 211 FPS. So right around 200 FPS with that frame gen on. Still a little bit, you know, the frame time graph isn't exactly flat over there, but it's much better. And of course, the frame time graph doesn't really interpolate the multi-frame generation like it should. So that kind of doesn't mean too much, honestly, whenever you're doing multi-frame generation. All right, if I could get unstuck from the wall here. I mean, as far as visually, though, no artifacts, no weirdness, no ghosting that I'm seeing. It looks really good. So what are my recommended settings here? So I would probably try to play off of the, I'd probably just turn ray tracing off completely, because that seems to introduce some really crazy stuttering issues. I'm going to go ahead and restart and come back, and then we'll finish it up. Please subscribe if you hadn't. My last plug, thank you. All right, we are back in it, and of course I have disabled ray tracing, and you can definitely tell the lights aren't as pretty and that kind of stuff, but it just introduces way too many stutters in my opinion, and I would probably go back up to quality. Again, I am just running through what I would normally recommend how to play this game. So this is 4K. I would use quality DLSS. It's totally worth it. You lose almost no fidelity at all. I mean, unless you're zooming in with a 10x microscope, you're just not going to see that big of a difference at all. And ultra settings seem to be fine. No ray tracing, of course. We're just going to eliminate ray tracing because that's just quite buggy still. And this is 103 FPS. Now, I do have a 144 refresh panel, so I'm not quite there on my panel yet. And I like to try to get as much as I can out of whatever display that I'm using. I'm much more of a frame rate guy than necessarily something that has to look like the most visually perfect. So we're at 120-ish FPS. I'm pretty sure that I could get away with some frame generation and still, you know, have a really great experience. Now, when I go to 2x frame generation, it's going to jump up a little bit over here on our VRAM, because it is going to use a little bit of that VRAM. So we're at 11. So 10.5 to 11. Yeah, okay, there we go. 11.2. So it didn't really use that much of it, and I'm well over my my 144 refresh here. So I'd probably run it like this and then go in and cap that frame rate just to have a really smooth experience. And I'm going to do that now. I just want you to kind of take a mental note of what the frame time graph looks like, and hopefully when I cap the frame rate, it will give me a much smoother experience here. So I'm going to cap it to 144. That's my refresh rate again. And now look at that graph. Once everything kind of muddles out here, it definitely improved at first, but it still doesn't look like it's, I mean, 0.2 milliseconds of delay there is pretty nice. So yeah, I would probably play at this and then just cap that frame rate. and just sit back and enjoy the game. I would highly recommend not using ray tracing if you can help it. I mean, if you want to put up with a little bit of herky-jerkiness in probably some areas, Hogsmeade being one of them, then of course that's your decision, completely personal decision. But it does introduce some performance issues, in my opinion. So anyway, that's going to wrap it up. Again, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. It goes a long way that you've stayed this far in the video, this long in the video. If you want to go back and look at any of my other videos, that also helps my chances on YouTube and gaining traction as well, the longer you watch my videos. And of course, a subscription is the best way to support my work here. If you have any other questions about this game or want to see another game, down in the comments there, just leave me one and I'll test 4080 or 5080 all the way down to 5060. I've got a 5090. We've got all the 50 series cards so far. So if you want to see one, just let me know the card and the game you want to see, and I'll try to make that work. Thank you so much, and everyone have a fantastic evening. Talk to you later.